Let's start with the prompt. Which choice best describes data in the graph that supports the hypothesis? And what is the hypothesis? Many plants lose their leaf color when exposed to this antibiotic produced by some soil microorganisms. These researchers hypothesize that plants' response to that chemical exposure involves altering their uptake of metals such as iron and zinc. The researchers grew two groups of seedlings of the plant, half of which were exposed to that chemical, and half which were a control group without exposure to the chemical, and measured the plant's metal content 5 days after germination. So, once again, what's the hypothesis? That the plant's response to the exposure involves altering their uptake of metals such as iron and zinc. So, what we're seeing is that with the chemical, the amount of zinc uptake is less and the amount of iron uptake is less. So with the chemical, there's less metal content of two different types of metals. So let's see which answer says that. A, the control plants contain higher levels of zinc than iron, but plants exposed to the chemical contain higher levels of iron than zinc. Well, let's see, that might be true actually. So the control plants had higher zinc. Nope, that's actually false. The control plants had higher iron. So looking at B, both groups of plants contain more than 200 parts per million of iron and zinc, but we're not seeing that the change is attributable to the chemical. C, zinc levels were around 300 parts per million in the control plants, but nearly 400 parts per million in the plants exposed to the chemical. Well, we're not seeing a growth as there was exposure to the chemical. We're seeing a lowering. And D, the plants exposed to the chemical showed lower levels of iron and zinc than the control plants did. That's exactly what we said in our own words. So the answer here is D.